One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Ty Brown, and welcome to One Question, where we highlight executive leaders in college athletics. Our guest today is Irma Garcia. Irma is the Director of Athletics at St. Francis College in Brooklyn. Greetings, Irma. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Ty. This is exciting. Can't wait to talk to you.
Now, Irma, you spent your entire career in athletics there at St. Francis College, and you've been in a number of roles, culminating with your current position as the Athletics Director. And as the AD, when you took over, your focus has been to emphasize the purpose of doing what it is that your department does there at St. Francis. When you took over as AD, did the purpose or the why of the department already exist? Or when you took over, did you establish the purpose and then make it a visible, tangible guiding principle for every decision from that point forward?
It's a great question, and I like to think that because I came up the ranks of being a student athlete and then a coach and then assistant AD, associate AD, that all along, and living my dream right now as a director of athletics, all along I've been talking about what would be my purpose, what would be, if I took over, what would be the changes that I would make that would be impactful for our student athletes in a positive way, and that can lead to other things that will make this program even better. So I would like to think that my purpose started way before, and every year I kept saying, if I became AD, this is what I would do, and if I became AD, this is what I would do. But when I became the AD, I knew that there had to be major changes in order for us to be successful. And I knew that we wouldn't be successful on and off the court or on and off the field right away. So we had to find different ways to win. We had to find different ways to buy into what we wanted to do. And so for us, we have Franciscan values here, and we have a mission to be respectful and of service and community. And so I felt that that would be the right way to just get the teams to buy into, let's win in those ways. We can be the best, like having our best in the website compared to other institutions, and we have. And we can be number one in academics, which we've accomplished those things. And so once they bought into that there is a person that has the passion, that wants to inspire, and that I want to teach them how to do that as well, then they just started to follow. So my purpose has always been there. If anybody knows me, they know that I have a lot of energy. I like to talk. I love to laugh. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't laugh, that I don't just have a moment to think, oh, that could be different. And it's all about change, positive change, about listening to people and about taking that engagement and doing something with it. So the purpose is when you talk about the why, when you talk about your purpose, it's always been about my passion, and I want to create that in our students, because the students, not just the student athletes, but I believe in making sure that we're engaging with all the students, that they believe in the mission.
Right. And what I find interesting is that as you worked your way up in athletics there at St. Francis, you were establishing your purpose in terms of how you lead. And once you became the leader of the department, and of course, any organization is going to take on the persona of its leader. The culture is going to take on the persona of its leader. Once you became the leader, your purpose became the purpose for the department, which I find interesting. When you did become athletic director, now you went into it a little bit, but now you have to go through the steps of explaining to everybody the culture. This is what we do here, right? Our culture. This is our purpose. This is our why. What was your method of emphasizing that to the staff, the student athletes, and the people that were with you then, and some of the people who are probably still with you now? What was your method of emphasizing that?
Right. So what we're mentioning about my staff, whenever I hire anyone, I ask them for 3 years. So you have to learn the way we do things here. And after 3 years, I hope you get any job. But I find that many of my staff, they don't leave. And the reason for that is that when it starts with me. So the passion that I have, and so it was really, really important that they understood that I'm going to go through the wall for them, and that I was visible, that I was available, that I was here to help them to be a teacher and to be a learner as well, because listening is such a huge part of whatever we do. So they knew I was at every game, every home game I could possibly be. I was talking to them. I made sure that whenever they went through something, I went through with them. So they would never go by themselves. So they had to believe in me, and they had to feel the passion. And so I took few people and one team, and then it became contagious. And so, say if you connect with this team, or if you become, and every year we did something different. The theme was always something different. First year was about perception. And, the first year it was really important that everybody look good, because if you look good, you feel good. So we just went with Nike, and I bought them a ton of gear so that way they could say, look, I look really good. And so they felt like they're walking around, I care. And so the important thing was they could see that I was visible, I cared about them, I wanted them to do well, and I was the first one to do things, so if there was, I'm going to equate this to New York City dining room, okay? So, when you go eat in New York City, they give you this little table, you have 4 people, and it's like a table for 2. And somehow the waiter comes over, and he starts moving things around, and by the time they're done, they're having a great night, they're eating well, and their conversation's going extremely well. That's me. I'm the mover. I make sure that we stay within that table, but we move things around so they can all connect and that they can have a great experience. And they bought into it. And so every year has been a different theme. Let's transform. Let's be contagious. Let's be family this year. And so, and then we talk about it in the beginning of the year, but then we emphasize it every day. And that's our word for the year. Let's do it. And slowly, the people who I've been bringing in, they've been bringing in their own passion, their own purpose. And, they're now it's like we had a couple of words, and it's like a bubble. And now there's 100 words in that bubble, and it's going to grow. And that's the whole idea of maybe that they bought into it, but it's all about leadership.
When you have your theme for the year, and the theme ties into the overall purpose, do you plan out ways of emphasizing that theme throughout the year, or do things just happen organically?
No, it's planned. So we, as a staff, we meet during the summer. I get pumped up for it. We spend the whole day. We hang out all day. But that's like, we get up, we dance, we talk, we laugh. The whole idea is to get what's going to be our theme for this year, and then how do we emphasize that the whole year. And so, it's like the word is repeated, not maybe like you'll see it out, but it's in our vocabulary. And, are we transforming? Are we being contagious? Are we a family this year? Want to be part of the family. And we have great student athletes. So we try to get them as freshmen. By sophomore year, they're already leaders, and they're already doing some great things. And then they become contagious, because by the time they're juniors, because by junior year or senior year, they're already starting to go out into the real world. And again, I have to reteach, but it's worth it. That's, a teacher, and that's how I see myself as a teacher. And, people say, some kids call me coach, and I say, no, I'm really a teacher. Because a teacher, you want that student to get an A, but in order for the kid to get an A, it's not you just give them information for them to memorize. You give them information for them to understand. So, and it becomes repetitious, so then that understanding, you're going to get the A. It's automatic. We do it all year. We work on it during the summer, and then I need for my senior staff to buy into it, because if they don't buy into it, I don't micromanage. I need for them to be, good soldiers, and to go out there and not only do they get it to their coaches, but we extend it to the community. So if you ever, and you're invited here anytime, Ty, but if you ever come here, you'll get a sense of family, of belonging, of gratefulness. Those are things that matter to me. That if a student athlete, you ask them how to get from point A to point B, not only will they tell you, but they'll take you to that point B.
is there a method, for lack of a better word, the retreat you mentioned when you and the staff are together before the year starts? Do you come up with a definition for the word there, or do you take the generally accepted definition, or is there a St. Francis definition of this word that everybody has agreed to operate from?
It is the group. So the staff comes up. I throw up, we say, okay, what could be our word? But they all are part of it. The beauty of when I have we meet every Tuesday, but everybody has something to say, and it's all worth it. Because I don't make decisions based on. I mean, I make the final decision, but I base my decisions because of what we want to do. So similar to that retreat, we come up with words, and this year was about belonging, and for many reasons, because last year we had a new president, and he put athletics in the forefront, but we wanted to belong not only in athletics, we wanted to make a strong presence within the community, within the college, which got lost a little bit, and so we had to come back. And sometimes that's what happens, is that you think you're doing such a great job, but then it gets lost somewhere, and because it becomes the same thing. That's why, for me, a new word every year, a new message, and keeping all those other things, all those other words, is really important, because you don't want it to get where it becomes stale and the same all the time.
Right. Well, this is excellent information here, and I really would want to know here, and this is my last question here for you, Irma. I really want to know, in terms of when you guys plan out the year, and I guess you just touched on it, the touch points you have when you guys reconvene and talk about how we have emphasized this word that we've come up for the year. Is that what you do in the meetings? You talk about how it was emphasized?
We talk about it often. It's not, we don't get lost. So one of my pet peeves, and people probably will tell you this, is the follow through. And then many people will come up with ideas and be really innovative and say these great ideas, but they don't follow through, or they'll just leave it out there. And 6 months from now, you go, oh, that idea that never transpired, never really took off. For me, it's repetition. So we started in July, and so we meet 4 times, but we meet with the senior staff. So after right after the break, which is now, we just met. We just had another powwow, and we talk about, where are we at? What do we have left? What do we want to accomplish? And we may change some things. That's not going to happen this year. We're going to have to wait till the summer. Okay, but are we still aligned with what the things that we want to do in July? And in May, I take out my staff. They know me. I take them out as much as I can. I mean, there's one thing that we like to be with hospital here, and so we give a lot of food, and so I take my staff out a lot because I want them to feel good. And we talk about, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Where are we at? This is good. This is not working. And then in May, it's a big powwow party, and for the things that we accomplish, we're gonna celebrate. We celebrate all the time. And I think it's important, and for the kids to see that we celebrate. Our awards dinner, the kids are screaming, yelling, all positive stuff, because they get pumped, because I pump them up. Say, this is what you did. Come on, let's celebrate. And so those are things that really, really matter to me. And I think the kids see that I get excited with all the great things that they do. And then it could be simple thing, like, a kid getting a C from a D. And I said, you could do it, so let's try a B. Well, how do we get to the B? And challenging them in a way that they've never been challenged, so therefore they feel good. The greatest feeling is graduation for me, when they walk down and they're looking at me like I did it, and you feel the celebration.
Irma, it sounds like you've created a great environment there at St. Francis, and like you said, you had been planning this for when you became AD. You became AD, and everything seems to be working in your favor. And I would imagine that the staff and student athletes really love being a part of that organization. I really appreciate you joining us here on One Question. Thank you.
Yeah, I love them, and I hope you come and visit, just so you can see it for yourself. So awesome.
That was Irma Garcia. She's the Director of Athletics at St. Francis College in Brooklyn. And of course, this is Ty Brown with one question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.